Hey LinkedIn, Chirag here, and I'm really privileged to be joined by Kiran Mistry from Actors Realis, who's the head of Project Controls. Kiran spent the majority of her career actually being a contractor, and a few years ago she went permanent. So we're just going to talk about that journey. Kiran, talk to us a little bit about your journey, how you started your career as a contractor, and then what made you decide to go permanent and reach the level of the head of Project Controls, really.
Great. Thank you for the introduction. As I guess my career spans over 23 years. I fell into project controls as a junior project controls engineer, junior planner at BA Systems many years ago. I guess I fell into contracting because I got the opportunity to work at Heathrow Terminal 5 when that was being built. And I was going through the route of the software provider Artemis at the time, and it was the only opportunity and the only way to sort of go into the project was through the contracting route. So I fell into it naturally, I guess, and it organically grew from there. I went from role to role in that contracting environment. It was something that just mutated over time. I went on to a number of roles, and I think my aspiration was to get it wasn't just about contracting, it was getting exposure to all the big projects that were going on at the time. I spent a bit of time in the water industry working for Thames Water, and then I went back to Heathrow as well through when they were building Terminal 2 as a contractor, and then went back to the water industry and had the opportunity, I guess, to sort of rethink my career and decide whether I wanted to stay a contractor or go into a permanent position. And after 18 years, I decided that was the time for me to go into a permanent role. And I chose that for a number of reasons, I guess. And you might want to ask me some of those questions, but I can elaborate a little bit more, I guess, as to why I did that.
Sure. And obviously, a big part for many contractors in today's world, considering going permanent, is the change in legislation. A lot harder to get the limited company roles, and that could be a natural progression. But from a really career perspective, what were your main drivers, and how did it change your ambitions as well?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think one of the biggest deciding moments for me to go from contracting to sort of the permanent market was because it was, well, less paperwork, let's put it. When you're going contracting, there's a lot of paperwork you need to do with the tax person. And I wanted to sort of go into an environment where I can really push myself and push my boundaries outside my comfort zone into thinking just about me and the client to a much more wider area. So when you're a contractor, you just think about what you're delivering and how the client perceives you. But when I moved into a company like Actors Realis, I went because I could see there was about to be an explosion of project control requirements, and there was lots of opportunities, and a company can provide that. And I guess I naturally sort of went for the roles that I could push myself. So I went into the rail environment, did a role in the rail sector, which I'd never done before, as a project controls lead, really. And it was daunting because I hadn't done rail before, didn't know all the acronyms, and it's quite a defined sector. But it gave me the choice to expand my network, I guess, across the business, and understand that project controls, it is all about talking to the right people and getting the right information at the right time. And that allowed me to sort of transition quite quickly. It wasn't easy. It was literally the time of COVID. It was the first week of COVID. So that had its own challenges. Being a project controls lead on a program of, a 9-year, £2-3 billion program, which I'd never done before, was also coming with its own challenges. But I think when you go to a large company or any company in a permanent position, you get those arms around you that you can reach out to, which I never had that comfort before of being a sort of sole contractor. You're just thinking about what you're doing. When you go to a large organization, you've got the ability to reach out to the wider organization and get to know that. And there are a huge amount of technical experts, people who've been there and done it, and that you can draw upon. So you don't feel alone, I guess, is the result.
Sure. And what's the best advice you'd give to someone they've similar to yourself, they've spent the last 10 years contracting, they're thinking going permanent, and they actually want to go for that career drive, move to the next
Yeah,
stage?
I think for me it was about getting exposure to an organization that can open up those opportunities for you. So I've been very grateful to my organization because they've given me the access to try different things and explore areas that I've not worked on before, and also roles I've not taken on. I didn't take on huge line management opportunities before because I had line management roles in my career, even as a contractor, but not to the scale that I've got now. So I think my advice is to make sure you've got, one, the technical experience that you want to sort of be known for. So get that wider sector experience, as much sector experience as possible. So you've got that breadth of knowledge and experience, but also you've got to showcase that you're driven. And I think if you move from being a contract to a permanent, you're almost driven anyway, because you've got that self motivation and that, you know, that ability to find your own work, which I had to do for those 18 years. So I think when you're in an organization, push yourself to get connected, network as much as you can, understand your strengths, look for those opportunities that drive your career in the right direction, and understand what your passion is. For me, it was leading large project control operations teams, so making sure that I get the best of those people, allowing them to develop in themselves, you know, and that's what's pushed me into those roles, by sharing my passion, my vision for project controls in my company, really.
Great, thanks. And last question, you mentioned networking there. What's your advice to those that are going through their career? How do they build their network, and how do they build relationships? It's a little bit harder for those coming through at the moment with the
It
hybrid
is.
working and everything.
It's funny because I'm not naturally somebody who would sit there being the life of party when I'm at networking events. I'm quite a shy person, but I wouldn't be where I am without networking. It's the most powerful tool anyone can have in progressing their career. I would say, no matter where you are in your career, whether you know a graduate, apprentice, early to your senior levels, getting to know our industry is not huge. It's not huge, and we're quite a welcoming industry, I think, you know. And the more you feel confident to just have those conversations with people, ask about what they do, you know, be inquisitive about the projects they're working on, the better. I think I would be where I am. I think I've been fortunate in those 23 years I've been in my career. I think I've only had about 4 interviews in my life, which is weird. And it's all because of the networking that I've had, getting to know the people and that networking it's not just about the technical experience and the networking that you can have, but it's getting to know what's happening in the industry, like the Project Connect group and stuff like that is a great environment where you can get to know what's happening in the industry, get to know others, your peers. And I think the more people do that, I think the better it is, not just for them, but for the others that they converse with, because they could equally not just learn from them, but they're obviously offering lessons learned to others as well from their own experiences.
That's great. Thanks a lot for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks.